All right. We're going live now to Kabul, where the Taliban's spokesperson, Zabiullah Mujahid, is making a statement to the media. Let's listen in.
To announce an acting cabinet for the proceeding the work. I have to mention that this has happened due to deep consultation with elders and everyone. So now we would like to announce the acting cabinet members. So the cabinet members are as follow.
محترم الحاج ملا محمد حسن اخوان سرپرست ریاست الوزراء.
Al-Hajj Muhammad Hassan is acting as the head of the cabinet.
محترم مولوی محمد یعقوب مجاهد
Muhammad Yaqub Mujahid
وزارت الدفاع.
acting as a defense minister.
محترم الحاج ملا
Sirajuddin Haqqani as head of interior affairs ministers. Amir Khan Muttaqi as head of foreign affairs minister.
محترم ملا
Hidayatullah Badri as acting minister of finance.
محترم شیخ مولوی
Nurullah Munib acting as education minister.
محترم ملا
Khairullah Khairkhwa acting as culture affairs ministry. Din Muhammad Hanif acting minister of economic.
محترم شیخ مولوی نور محمد ثاقب سرپرست وزارت حج و
Mr. Saqib as head of Hajj affairs, Hajj and religious affairs. Abdul Hakim as head of justice. Nurullah Nuri as head of borders and tribes ministry. Yunus Akhanzada as head of rural rehabilitation ministry. Abdul Manan Munari acting as Minister of Rehabilitation. Mullah Abdul Latif Mansoor acting as Minister of Power and Water. Nurullah Akhanzada as acting Minister of Transport. Mr. Haqqani acting Minister of Higher Education. Khalil Rahman Haqqani head of Refugees Ministry. Abdul Haq Wasiq acting Minister of Intelligence. Haji Muhammad Idris acting Minister of Afghanistan Central Bank. Ahmad Jan Ahmadi as heading of Afghanistan government admin. Fasihuddin Sher Muhammad Abbas Stanigzai, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. Nur Jalal as Deputy Minister of Interior Affairs. Zabiullah Mujahid as Deputy of Interior Affairs. Mullah Tajmir Jawad as Deputy of Intelligence Affairs. Najib as Deputy of Intelligence. Abdul Haq as Deputy Minister of Interior Affairs and Narcotics and Counter Narcotics Department. As we are all witness that Afghanistan was facing a critical era, and people were demanding us to form a framework for our cabinet. Therefore, Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan
دلته یو اشتباه ممکن سوی وي د ریاست الوزراء دوه معاونان دي محترم ملا عبدالغني برادر اخوند د ریاست الوزراء یو معاون محترم مولوی عبدالسلام حنفی د ریاست الوزراء دوه معاون.
Mr. Hanafi and Akhundzada are the two deputy heads of cabinet, so I have to mention that. So now this enacting cabinet, some of the ministries are still remaining, so we are still working on them and we will appoint people for them. So we will definitely find professional and expert people for the deputy ministries. So we decided to not make a political government. So, but this time it's acting minister, so it has a little bit political side. So definitely we will focus on the upcoming future government to bring expert people. So this cabinet will only handle the current situation, and because people are facing poverty and people have problems, so now the security situation is getting well day by day, so that's why we need to focus on a state and we have to serve to the people. So we have the list of cabinet members printed out so journalists can get one copy. They are all written in Pashto, Farsi and English, so we will distribute this to the media. Thank you for your attention. Now we are taking some questions from AP.
France Press Agence کولای شي خپل سوال وکړي.
France Press.
Good evening, Manuel Deparc from Agency France Press. We would like to know, there was some protest this afternoon this morning and this afternoon in Kabul and Herat. According to some reports, there were some people, journalists, who were beaten or arrested during this protest. So we'd like to know, what would you confirm on that, this arrest, and why they were arrested? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. ترجمان لري دوی؟
سلام، ایشان از FP هستن. هم تو معرفی کردن، گفتن پیش از 6 تا بعد از 6 برخی تظاهرات ها در کابل و هرات بوده که گفتم میشه بعضی از ژورنالیست ها و کسایی که مظاهره میکردن مورد لطکوب قرار گرفتن و بعضیشان هم بازداشت شدن. آیا شما این موارد تایید میکنن؟
یک چیز رو شما باید بفهمیم.
These days, the government has just came out from critical areas, and it's not time for protest, and the government is not formed yet, and the protest has its own agenda, and they have to communicate with us before they organize any kind of demonstration, so we can take their security, and also they have to share the agenda of their protest with us, and the place for the protest should be allocated before, and then they can do their protest. protest, and the demonstration which we see it from different from specific people, though they provoke people and they encourage people to somehow make anarchism in the city, and this is something that make a problem and for people, and people will worry about this. So we request all people to not do demonstration until we form our government and we make a law for this.
عبدالحق عمری تولو نیوز.
Thank you, Mr. Mujahid. My question was regarding the cabinet. Is it for the short term or long term? If you could, could you describe what's the position for the Amir al-Mu'mineen? Amir al-Mu'mineen will remain as an Amir, as a head. So it will be like a prime minister issue. So this cabinet will be an acting cabinet. So after that, we will have more appointments and we will expand the cabinet.
یزدانی صاحب صدا و سیما ایران. تشکر.
دولتی که عنوان میشد که همه شمول خواهد بود. درباره این موضوع می‌خواستم بپرسم و اینکه
You have mentioned before that the cabinet will be inclusive and people from other tribes will also be included. So now would you describe that how many cabinet members are from other tribes? First, let me tell you that it's an acting cabinet because to proceed the current situation, and then we will have discussions, wide discussions with different people, different tribes, and then we will focus how to make inclusive government. So this is like a temporary cabinet.
New York Times. تلویزیون تمدن.
تشکر مجاهد صاحب. من محمد اسلام.
Thank you, Mr. Mujahid. I'm Ehsan Beinush from Tamaddun TV. The acting cabinet that you have announced, and before you claimed that it will be an inclusive cabinet, but now we see it's not an inclusive cabinet. So it's all figures are from one tribe, and other tribes people or representatives are not included in the cabinet. And regarding the Shia minority, what's your idea? What will be their involvement in the government? And the third question is regarding the protests in Kabul and in some other provinces, which we saw some violence against demonstrators. So one of the demands of the demonstrators today was regarding the Pakistani interfere into Afghanistan's affairs. So before you say that Panjshir is captured and conquered by your forces, but there are some reports that Pakistan was involved in Panjshir operation. Before I mentioned that the cabinet is an acting cabinet and it's not completed yet, and it's partially announced. So we will definitely, as I mentioned, we will discuss on that, and we will definitely invite from other people to take part in the cabinet. So this is a temporary cabinet, and we will definitely extend this cabinet. Regarding the demonstration, I mentioned before that the protest is not legal at this moment, as we said that there is no government to talk or to respond for them. So now we have a government, and then they can discuss. So regarding the Panjshir, still they claim that we have resistance there, but we have reports that in the last 2 days there has been no fight over there. So we will not let the country to go back to war. So there are some hands in the among the demonstrators who want to make anarchism and making problems. So we will not let them. So the second issue is that our fighters are new here with the city, and they are not well trained, and they may not behave with people. So people should tolerate with them, and they should let us to train our forces, and also let them to how to deal with such situations or with the demonstrations. Regarding the Pakistan interfere, I would like to mention that Pakistan is not backing us. It's like propaganda. In the last 20 years that Pakistan is backing Taliban, but I strongly say that it's not correct, and it's all baseless, and we have our own freedom. We have did our war by our own self, and Pakistan was not involved at all. And it's all clear for everyone that we defeated the United States by our own, and there were no other country who supported us or helped us. And we will not do or will not act against our own people or our own country, and we will never go for favor of Pakistan. So I think these all examples enough for proving this.
Nasratullah Aqbal sahab, CGT, taasi mehrabani.
Mr. Mujahid, the cabinet is announced now, and now people will have less worry about the announcement of the government. There is one issue that nowadays it's a hot news, breaking news, or it's regarding the inclusivity of the cabinet. So there are some figures that they should be included in the government. So what's your view that the people who worry about your cabinet, which you have announced, will you import or will you include other members cabinet from other tribes? Or so let me clarify that our cabinet will not be based on tribal issues. So we will not make a cabinet that we have to have people from symbolic, like from different cabinets. So we will make it based on expertise, and we'll make it and also we will let those people who has fought with us during the last 20 years. So now Mr. Fasihuddin is a person from north of the country, and now he has a key part and a key member of the cabinet. So our cabinet formation is not according to tribe, and we have no discrimination against any of tribes, and we will not let the cabinet should be formed according to language or according to tribal issues. So we will think according to the nationwide, not according to a specific place or a specific province or a specific religion or language. Because we have had this experience in the past that political figures who were corrupt figures, but they belong to a specific province or a specific tribe, then they were involved in the government and they loot everything and they did bad for the Afghan nation. So we will not let that happen again. So we were witness that some figures, they had buildings, they had lots of investments inside and outside of the country, but their people were poor and their people had no food to eat. So we will not let those figures to come and join us in the cabinet.
ملي تلویزیون والا ستاسو ستا کابل نیوز عمران صاحب
سلام مجاهد صاحب وخت مو بخیر مجاهد صاحب لکه څنګه چې تاسو خبر
My question is again regarding the demonstration, that in the demonstration today I was there and your fighters beat journalists and even they destroyed our equipments, cameras, and detained some of us. So you have said in your past press conferences that you're committed to the freedom of speech, and if this is the freedom of speech you are obeying, so this is concerning. And my next question is regarding the flights from Mazar-e-Sharif, that there were some people who wanted to fly outside, but the Taliban members avoided them. Regarding the demonstration, I have to mention that the demonstration was not legal, and I would like to ask the media family to not cover those demonstrations which has no legal base. So today demonstration was regarding to stop. Today they were demanding that a stop fight in Panjshir, but while there is no fight in Panjshir in the last 2 days. So these are all anarchists and they just want to make problem for the Kabul city residents. And as I mentioned before, so when we form the government, then they will have the right to do demonstration. So at this time, at this sensitive time, making anarchism will be not allowed, and we will definitely control this, and we ask the journalists and media to not cover such incidents or such events. I mentioned before that our police members are not well trained, and the demonstrators should communicate with us before, so we have to make sure that we take their security and then they do their demonstration. So my request is from the people who demonstrate and also from the media family to not cover such incidents until we form our government. From Anadolu, Turkey. My question is that what do you expect, that how many countries will recognize how many Islamic countries will recognize your country? What's your expectation? And regarding the other foreign countries, how many countries will recognize your government? So my demand is that from the international community that they have to build relations and affairs with us through diplomatic means, and especially to the Islamic countries, we want to have good relationships, and we want to build a relationship based on trust, and we have several times given this message to all of them that we will not let them to interfere in our internal affairs, but we will definitely want to make relationships. So in the formation of our cabinet, we will not let them to comment, because it's our internal issues, and we will definitely do it by our own self. Because we will never say, or we will never comment on the formation of their government or framework of the government, so that's why we don't welcome their comment and formation of our own government and how we govern. It's our government and it's our country, it's our people. So, but regarding the relationship, as I mentioned, we need their support, and we definitely welcome them, and we committed that we will maintain a good relationship with the foreign countries.
Dan TV. Dan TV.
The cabinet is announced. Now, the same question. Which countries you would like to have relations with? As I mentioned before, we would like to have relationship with a wide range of countries and across the world. So now still we haven't formed our government, but still we have met lots of foreigner representatives in Kabul, and we welcome them, and they have suggested aids for our country and for the people, and we welcome them, and we support this. So I hope the foreign countries stop enmity with us, and they should build a new relationship which is based on diplomatic means. As you have announced the new cabinet, regarding the long-term government, if you could tell me that when it will be announced and how many countries are invited to attend. And regarding the flights, you have mentioned that until we form the new government, we will not let anyone to travel abroad. So that's why. Regarding the flights, I have to mention that they have to obey our law. They have to have proper documents, and if they don't have documents, we will not let them to go. They have to have passport, they have to have visas, and we have to have a exit stamp on their passport. So now, till now, we had nothing. So from tomorrow on, we will definitely restart the work of departments, and then people will be able to travel abroad. So in the next few days, people will be able to trip abroad. Thank you for your all.
All right, Sabitullah Mujahid, nearly 20 years after being toppled by U.S. forces and coming almost to the day of the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, the Taliban finally unveil the new acting cabinet. All right, let's cross over to our Ali Mustafa, who joins us live now from Kabul. Ali, I know that you are listening in, but here's my take. When you look at some of these names, Hassan Akunz, Abdul Ghani Baradar, Mohammed Yaqub, and Sirajuddin Haqqani, very much dominated by the old guard.
Well, it depends on how you define the old guard, because for a lot of weeks now, we were expecting Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, the one who signed the deal with the Americans, to be named as head